So I wanted to get a chance to talk to everybody about the young guys that played in this national championship and semifinal game for the Dogs against Ohio State and then Texas Christian. Um, it just, particularly on the defensive side of the ball, the young players at Georgia have really shown up here lately. By the way, I'm wearing this shirt from Red Zone. If you like it, the link is right down below. Excuse me, I said shirt, it's a sweatshirt. So our friends from Red Zone have got this. I think it's an exclusive design, but let me get right back to this. We've known Malachi Starks and Michael Williams. They both were freshman All American, okay, according to the Football Writers Association of America. But when you look at this game this season, Barry Alexander really had a very good close of the year. He flashed a little bit against LSU, but then against TCU, he was all over the place. He had two tackles, both of which were tackles for loss, one of which was a sack. Jalen Walker, I've been writing about Georgia. Well, you know what I'm writing about, and I'll get to that in a second. But one thing that popped out during all of the writing that I've done is when you look very closely at the games, Jalen Walker was one of the two guys running CJ Stroud out of the pocket and into an incomplete pass on the final down from scrimmage that Ohio State had in the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl. It was Smile Munden busting through. I can't remember where, but he came through. Him and Malachi Starks came through the middle of the line on the play before that, which really caused some trouble for Ohio State. Stroud nearly threw an interception to Keely Ringo there, but it was Walker and Smile Munden who were sprinting around to get into position to pressure Stroud so that he just didn't have a great look at anything. Okay, so this a younger Georgia group that so Georgia entered the Georgia entered 22 with by my count it was 88 scholarship players. But keep in mind that of the 88, some of those guys were COVID seniors. So, like Stetson Bennett, um, I believe Jack Podnesley was one as well. So, anyway, of the 88 guys on scholarship, that's Dean Leggy math. Okay, I'm not Kirby's not. He only calls me so much to confirm these things. 30 of the players on Georgia's team were scholarship freshmen, true freshmen. And that's who we're talking about in this thing. And one reason I was looking at Jalen was because I'm doing this book. Obviously, a lot of y'all have seen it. Many of y'all are new and see this every single day for the first time. Y'all have never seen Dog Post before. So pick up Double Dogs. The link is down below. And if you pick up Double Dogs today, I've got some confetti from the game for you that has thoroughly dried out, thankfully. It was wet. We had to dry it out before we even got on the plane to get back home. My plane ride back was quite an adventure. When you fly out of LAX twice the same morning, so if you get Double Dogs today, you'll get the confetti. But I'm just going to tell you right now, I don't know when I'm going to run out of confetti. So order it now to make sure that you get it. Um, and if you order it today, I think you'll be okay. Now, the longer we go here, I'm not so sure because people are ordering it quicker this year than they did last. Um, that said, when you take a look at the 30 freshmen, true freshmen that Georgia's got here, um, they've got some players. All right. Obviously, Starks is a star. Singletary transfers out. You got Brett Thorson at punter. These guys are already guys you've seen play. Williams, Bear Alexander, those guys really had good seasons, I would say, particularly the end of the season. Uh, you know, the running back Paul is the guy to keep to kind of pay attention to moving forward here, because what we don't know there is with all of the cheddar coming into the season about what he was doing, people definitely were saying he was a guy to keep an eye on. So that will help out a running back room that will have Kenny departing, but Kendall Milton and Edwards returning, as well as Branson Robinson. So you've got some guys at running back for sure, and you're adding Paul. Dylan Bell looked good. Oscar Delp had a very what I would call a very good season at Georgia. And the second half of the TCU game was a just a quick snapshot of what the future kind of should be at Georgia. Um, the guys that flashed the most, though, were at the close of the year were Malachi for sure, Williams, and Bear Alexander. Those guys really played well. Excuse me. And it's goodness, it's going to be curious to see two on the offensive line. Where when I'm recording this, Cedric Van Pran has not made his announcement yet in terms of if he's returning or not. Okay, so I don't know the answer to that. But obviously, Broderick Jones is leaving. Cedric Van Pran is listed as a sophomore, so is Broderick Jones. And I say listed as sophomore. Obviously, the devastating news of Willock passing away. That sophomore group, that class at least. We'll see what happens with Cedric. Okay, but the you're going to have a younger offensive line coming into 2023, but they are still very gifted. You return Tate Ratledge, you return Mims. You've got a lot of guys to work with there. Oscar Delp is going to immediately move up into the Darnell Washington spot. He will not be the same type of player, but don't confuse that as a negative statement. That's just sort of a statement of fact. Um, and at receiver, you know, they're returning a lot at receiver. They are, and then they're adding two guys who are very productive in the transfer portal. So the younger guys are going to still have to fight their way out there. Um, but the defensive side of the ball is definitely sort of ahead of the offensive side of the ball here. I mean, look, I think Gunnar Stockton is going to be a very good quarterback at Georgia. I mean, my suspicion is he will be a starter one day. I don't know when that day will happen. I am skeptical that day will be in 2023, but this group of 30 guys, technically speaking, there were 39 freshmen on Georgia's team. That's a lot of guys. They were not all true freshmen, but Morris, Wilson, Fairchild, Ingram Dawkins, Jefferson, Sorey, Green, those guys were all, and Brock, those guys were all redshirt freshmen. You had Stockton, Robinson, Paul, uh, Smith, Morissette, Bell, Spear, Delp, Hood, Bow, Green, uh, Bobo, Miller, Williams, Madden, Smith, Washington, Bear, Alexander, Jones, Walker, Washington, Lightsey, Everett, Thomas, Stark, Singletary's left, Humphrey, Washington, and Thorson. You had a lot of guys that were true freshmen that just won a national championship, several of whom really did play. I mean, Mikal Williams is probably going to be Georgia's go-to pass rusher for the next season or two. I mean, when you've lost Nolan, he's gone. Robert Beal is gone. Chaz Chambliss definitely is a guy that is to me, can be a sack. I mean, a troublemaking sack person. Okay, is what I would call it. Smile Munden, he's not a specialist. He's a linebacker that can sack guys. So I do think with Williams coming off the edge like that, that's a guy that people need to immediately be concerned about that are going to be dealing with Georgia. So I think that this young group has had a pretty good first year. Um, a season before, a lot of the sophomores that were freshmen the year before, the class before, that was a split up class. I mean, Bullard played a ton, obviously. Lassiter became a starter. Bullard became a starter. Smile Munden became a starter. Dumas Johnson became a starter. Eventually, Chaz Chambliss became a starter. Obviously, Brock Bowers and A.D. Mitchell, and then Mims. I mean, that's three, six, 9 guys who became sophomores who had huge impacts in 2022. What will that mean for the freshman class of this guy? Obviously, Williams, Bear Alexander, Walker, and Malachi are all guys, and Thorson too. These are all guys that have proven that they have the capability to be really dangerous moving forward. If you like this sweatshirt, our friends at Red Zone got it. The link is right down below the book. Thanks for watching. We'll see you on the website.